Let's start our streaming. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. I do hope everyone is doing well. Have to make sure I'm coming in nice and loud. Okay, okay. Perfect. Oh, okay, perfect. I can hear myself. And last but not least, what we need to do is, well, let's leave that there. Let's leave that here. It's always figuring things out. All right, cool. Tonight's going to be a fun one. What I've been thinking about for a while. So we'll see how it goes. All right, going live. What are we talking about? Our paragraphs, that's right. Just need to post and prepare my stuff. Then we're going to get right into it. I'm thinking next week's stream. Oh, cool. Oh, great. Hi there. Huh? Huh? All right. Well, this one isn't going to be specifically about single directory components. This is just a overview. I do have anything with Canvas. If you're looking for specifically single directory components, have a look at um, live streams with Drupal Canvas and things like that. That's where I cover a lot of single directory components. All right, so we got, wait, what was I doing? Yep, I just need to pop this in and we're good to go. I'm thinking next week's stream, because it's Drupal's birthday, I'm going to do kind of like a birthday one. Well, anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got this ready to go. Anyway, I think we are ready to rock and roll. Awesome. Okay. And what I can do is pop that there. Pop this so I can actually see it. Where is it? No, I can pop this in. Oh, I've got a few people. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Uh-huh. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. It's okay. Well, if the for the LinkedIn feed, if it drops, then just head over to YouTube, because that can be sometimes, yeah, the LinkedIn feed can be a little funny sometimes. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now just a heads up. This is about like paragraphs, components, and blocks. It's all three. It's not just specifically Canvas or single directory components. I've got videos for that. Um, so if you want to learn about that stuff, you can check it out. That's in more detail, but this is going to be like kind of an overview. All right, cool. So let me now just chuck in your questions if you want. I'm more than happy to answer. So if you have any questions, please just throw them in. I'll do my best. It's going to be fun. This isn't like a webinar or anything like that. So people think it is. Kind of, yeah, kind of is, but not at the same time. All right, just need to do my final preparation of recording things. Then we're good to go. Okay. Let's pop over to this feed. And before we kind of jump into it, okay. All right. Now, before we get into it, what I want to do is just mention the WebWash Premium community. This is where I'm trying to just monetize a lot of this stuff that I've been doing, because now this is nearly 2 years, no, like 90 live streams down. And I'm just trying out different things, trying to monetize this stuff, because I'd love to be able to do this, more of a full-time capacity. So right now I've got €99 lifetime access. You get access to a bunch of live streams that have been cut up as courses. And also I'm in the process of getting all of these live streams ad-free onto the site. And there's a lot of other stuff I want to do as well, like potentially starter kit Drupal sites where I do a video on it and then have a starter kit available where it's like one-click install and you get a working Drupal site. So if you want to learn more about it, head over to webwash.net, help out the channel, give it a go. It's lifetime access for now. It will go over to a yearly subscription soon, but it's all about just trying out different monetization strategies, because yeah, the world's in a funny place right now with monetization courses and web, and just got to try these things. Have to try these things. All right. Okay, so I'm not great at designing, as you can purely see, but this is what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. All right, so we've got our first question. I'm new to Drupal and I've found your channel, slowly learning Drupal on YouTube. Well, that's good. That's good. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Learn as much as you can. That's what I try. Yeah, I always say Drupal needs more content online. We just need people to talk about Drupal. So once you learn something, promote it, talk about it. That's a great way to promote it. All right, so we might as well just get right into it. So tonight I want to talk about three things: paragraphs, components, or single directory components, or SDC. You often see that thrown around, and blocks. Because one question I have got a lot lately, especially with Canvas coming out now. For people who don't know, Canvas is a new page builder that was released probably just over a month ago. And it utilizes single directory components. And a few people have come to me and asked me, does this mean we'll no longer be using paragraphs? Or what's up with blocks? When should we use blocks? Or should we even use paragraphs? So tonight I want to try and answer those questions. I want to go through the three options and then just show a little bit of how to set up paragraphs, how to utilize components in Drupal Canvas, and also how to utilize blocks, and talk about the benefits of each individual item in Drupal and how you might want to use it, because they are still different. Like, yes, they can be used for the same thing. You can use paragraphs to build out layouts in Drupal. You can do that. You can use blocks to do that. But now with single directory components, it's a little different. Okay, so we are first going to take a look at paragraphs. But before we kind of get into paragraphs, let me just quickly give you the 1 minute synopsis of everything. Okay, so if you want to store structured data in Drupal, for some reason you want to have on a page or an article and you want some type of structured data on it, then look at using paragraphs or even blocks, because blocks and paragraphs are fieldable. Very important, which means you can query them. Now, single directory components are a collection of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and also a YAML file that allows you to define components at the theme level. So think of your components that you create in Figma, or your components that you get from a lot of the design systems such as Tailwind, Daisy UI, Bootstrap, Shadcn UI. All of those components, you kind of think about it as individual components. And if you've done any type of React work essentially, or anything or Vue work, Vue.js, you often have to break down a design into components. So that's where you utilize single directory components. But you can override the template for paragraphs and blocks and implement single directory components. You can do that. Okay. So that's kind of the quick overall thing. So if you still want structured data, now there are other ways to handle structured data in Drupal. Don't get me wrong, there is. And paragraphs isn't the only one. And I always get some comments saying, paragraphs doesn't scale well. And there's been conversations about issues with scaling, especially with the entity revision module that powers paragraphs. There is that problem, but you're dealing with like millions of nodes. It's kind of like anything, once you're dealing with a lot of content and a lot of performance, then that's a whole other issue you need to deal with. But most people won't reach that point. So that's the way I kind of see it, okay? All of your front-end components. So if we take a look at here, for example, now this is all built using components. And this is a new Drupal CMS version 2. All of these are individual components. So these are handled by single directory components. And you can also chuck them into Drupal Canvas, and we'll look at that in more detail. But there is nothing stopping you from implementing this kind of design using paragraphs. You can easily do it. You can create a paragraph for this card component, for example, have a field on it called title, text, image, and style it, and still utilize the single directory component. So there's a few ways of doing it. All right. Now, I just want to quickly look at a few questions we have here. All right. Found resources. Yep. Found other resources. Eventually found your channel. All right, cool. Well, thank you very much, System Rockstar on YouTube. Enjoy the videos. All right. A few comments in LinkedIn. Oh, LinkedIn is going off tonight, which is good. It's good to see people on LinkedIn. I think people are back from work, eh? Okay, yep, that's right. The client this week needed to add Google Maps, added an iframe. Well, that's it. Okay. Oh, great. Used a content block. Yes. All right, another one. Haven't used paragraphs and components. We'll have to give it some guidance. Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully I'll be able to help you all out by answering this stuff. All right, cool. Let's get right into it. Okay, so we have paragraphs. Okay, so let's jump over here. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about paragraphs. Okay, so as I mentioned, paragraphs are just fieldable components from an entity level. Now, what that means is that Drupal has this entity system, so you can attach custom fields to it. And if you want to learn more about paragraphs, just head over to drupal.org/project/paragraphs. And here you can learn all about it. And if you go ahead, just go and download the module, and I've already done that. And if I come into here, extend, and search for paragraphs, and select paragraphs, and then click on continue, it's going to go ahead and install it. And so now we just need to create a bunch of paragraph types and then attach a field to a content type. So let's go ahead and do that. If we go not to content types, let's go to paragraph types. And I'll call this one, what are we going to call it? Content. I think I'll call it content. And let's jump in. And I'll add in two fields on this one. That is title as a plain text. And the next one will be formatted long. So this one's going to be like content, so like body or something like that. Okay. And let's go back into paragraphs, back into paragraph types, and this one's called image. And this one's going to be called, no, actually, let's reuse title. So we can get away with creating a separate field, and let's add media, okay? And this is just, so media is part of the media library module or the media system. And let's select image. And we're done. Okay, all right, just a few comments. All right, here we go. All right, okay. Make paragraph type and follow the SDC. Well, that's it. That's one comment. Exactly. You can do that. You can create a paragraph and then you just override it. And if you want, you can use, depending on what type of components you're creating, you can use UI suite and UI patterns to attach that single directory component. Then we've got another comment. Will you show us how we can make a single directory component? Yes, I'll quickly show you, but this video isn't about purely single directory components. If you want to learn about single directory components, I've got like a 2.5 hour, probably long video about building them out. Now I've got 2 videos on creating a basic Tailwind site and Canvas and using the Artisan theme. And you can learn all about single directory components in those videos. I'll go into in-depth, especially the Tailwind one. And another one, first time I used paragraphs was on the site in 2016. Oh, 2016. Oh, that's crazy. It's nuts, man. Yeah, it's been, I remember playing with paragraphs probably 2015. That's when it started coming out. And I remember it only had 1,000 installs. And I was a bit worried to use it because when you think about it, it's one of these modules that locks you in. It's any module that you use as part of the content creation in Drupal, you are kind of locked into it. Like, I know it's all open source and things like that, but if you want to move away from it, you need to migrate content out of it. And you can't go to a client and say, 6 months later, the module's, 2 years later, the module's no longer maintained. But yeah, paragraphs is one of those top modules. Absolutely. Yeah, paragraphs. Absolutely. All right. So we've created our 2 paragraph types. Now, all we need to do is just chuck them in and attach them to a content type. Now, you can create a paragraph field on any type of content type. And I've used paragraphs on block types. I've done that, done all that stuff. Okay, so here, interesting to see now the numbers in YouTube now taking over YouTube. Well, I don't know about the numbers. Wait, what are the numbers on? What got 15? No, normally the numbers aren't. I've got 11 watching on YouTube. And how many on LinkedIn? 8 on LinkedIn. But in total, my restream, because I stream to multiple places, says 15. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know what type of numbers these are. Who knows? All right. So now what we need to do is just, let's go over to, where is it? Structure, content types, articles, and let's create a paragraph field. I'll call this one paragraphs. I've often called them components, but it gets really confusing when I'm talking about components and paragraphs, and then you have SDC components. It's a little confusing. And you want to select the paragraph types that you want available, and you just click on save. And you want to then go ahead and configure the widget, because the widget is a lot of the magic in paragraphs, because that's the interface that you use. And you can control a lot here. If this is the first time you're playing around with paragraphs, just select the default and then just have a play with it. But I like to often close it up so that it's a lot easier to maintain. And we click on save and we are done. Okay. So now if we go ahead and create our, let me just bring up, I think I need some images. There we go. Perfect. All right, let's just go there, create a test page, knows what is a test article. And now down at the bottom here, hopefully you can see that, you should be able to see that in the feed. Yeah, you can. Right down at the bottom here, you have paragraphs. And then we can select an image or a content paragraph. So these are just our paragraph types. And honestly, on websites, you may have 5 or 10 or 15 different paragraphs. So if we come along in here, we can add a test title, test content. We can also add in another one right down below, test title, what is it? 2, test article or content, 2. And the good thing is you can then go ahead and collapse it because it's much easier to click and drag and move things around. That's the real benefit of paragraphs. You can move things around. You can then select image and let's do, test image. And let's upload an image. Let me select from my great selection of my live stream photos. These are a lot of these are my photos that I took when I went to a aviation museum in Australia when I used to live there. So let me just, no, I think I've got one here. Oh yeah, this was from one of the live streams. I think it was a Drupal Commerce live stream on selling coffee. Now let me put in the Drush icon. Drush icon. I'll put that in there. Chuck that in. We're done. Select inserted, and now we hit save. And we've got our paragraphs here. Now, I'm not going to worry about the look and feel of the paragraph. That you can easily do with a bit of theming. But the benefit that I'm trying to convey here is that you do have structured data. That's the most important thing with paragraphs. You can come along in here and easily duplicate a paragraph type if you want. You can edit all of them, so expand all of them. You can collapse them. Another one of my other favorite features of this is a drag and drop. So you can drag and drop and move them around. And it just makes life pretty easy of just moving your components around, hitting save, and you're done. And that is it. Now, the other thing to be aware of, as I mentioned, paragraphs are structured. So they have so if we come along in here, let me just refresh this. They do have, well, let me probably zoom that in a little bit more. They do have fields, okay? They are fieldable entities. So you do have a field for a table for every single field. Now, the tricky part with paragraphs is writing a query, especially if you want to, well, you can do entity field queries and things like that. But just sometimes getting out the data can be a little tricky because there are like nested fields inside and you have like 3 or 4 inner joins just to find the paragraph data that's attached to the article and so on and so forth. But you can use, and this is a good thing, you can use views to query a lot of this stuff. So if you are looking for a structured way of storing content that allows an editor to add items to a content type that doesn't require its own page, because a paragraph won't have a separate page. And what I mean by that is, say with content types, you do have a canonical URL, meaning that there is a page. So sometimes in your content model, you may want to have a index page or a details page that that teaches people or shows people some type of information. And so in that case, yeah, I mean, paragraphs is not useful because it needs to be attached to some type of fieldable entity. All right, we've got another question here. All right, is it possible for you to go live with beginner-friendly topic? Basic intro to Drupal, getting started locally, directory structure, installing Drupal, admin area, walkthrough. That's a good one. I could do it. I don't have a basic setup when it comes basic video when it comes to Drupal, but no, that's actually good feedback. I've been thinking of that. One thing I have been trying to decide is when you're setting up Drupal locally, there's so many ways of setting up Drupal locally, of just coming up with a nice way of doing it. Let me have a think about it. I could actually probably do something like that. I should really. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is a good question from LinkedIn. In your experience, what is the maximum number of paragraph levels that you can that can reasonably be managed? Oh, that is a good question. So what that relates to is that you can have paragraph fields in paragraph fields. And I would say probably I've seen situations where a paragraph system has been set up where you create a row or a section, and then you put all your paragraphs within that section. But I would say you don't want it more than, say, 2 to 3 levels deep. As soon as it goes beyond that, it just gets far too hard to maintain. And also, the performance of the form really slows down because every single time you make an update, Well, yeah, it depends. Yeah, that's a kind of thing. It depends, but I would say from an actual editor standpoint, anything more than 3 levels just gets too hard to maintain because just imagine this. I've worked on pages that have probably 10 paragraphs, and those paragraph types can have 5 or 6 or 7 fields. And then if you come along in here and edit it, sometimes it can be hard to kind of move things around and jump around and things like that. And so and so I would say 3. That's my limit. If you go beyond 3, I feel like you're kind of doing something wrong with the content model. But there's probably reasons for it. There's always reasons. But yeah, 3 is the max. All right, another comment regarding, all right, yes, okay, read on Drupal docs that there are many ways, but you could go with the recommended way. Yeah, well, that's the plan. I'll show you one way. There's many ways of doing things in Drupal. There's always 10 different ways, but there's just, one way. Okay, so this is pretty much the basics of paragraphs. Now I just want to show you one module before we jump onto other things, and that is called layout paragraphs, because this is where these are the questions that I get regarding paragraphs and Canvas and single directory components, because you can use paragraphs to build out pages. And I've been doing this for the last decade, as was mentioned in the comments. So this is where, I think moving forward to build out pages, you could use Canvas, but there's still good uses for paragraphs. I don't think paragraphs is going to go away. I don't think so. I hope not, because it's such a powerful system. And there's a lot of modules that extend it. So with layout paragraphs, go ahead and download it. I've already done that. So if I scroll all the way down, oh no, I think I've got the Alpha 3, version 3. And if I go to extend, search for layout, where is it? Layout paragraphs, install it. And we got that sorted out. And now what I can do is go to structure, because what you need to do is you want to go to structure and first of all create a new paragraph type called section. Now, I mentioned that sometimes on websites you create like a section or a row paragraph type. In this case, you want to create a section because then you enable layout paragraphs and you can select the layouts that apply to that paragraph. So you can then select and then add in paragraphs into those regions. Now, these layouts are controlled by the layout plugin system. So anything that uses, layout builder will use these layouts. But I am kind of keen to know if, this could essentially be replaced by single directory components. All right, so we've done that. We've selected the section, we've created a section, selected the fields, and that's it. You don't have to add in anything extra. All you need to do now is go to, structure. And let me go to content types and I'll add it, to the basic page. No, actually, let's reuse. I always forget. Let's reuse it. And I'll select all of the paragraph types, including section. And you go to manage form display. And this time you want to select layout paragraphs. And you can control a few things here, but just leave that as default and hit save. And then click on manage display and then select layout paragraphs and then click on save. And now what we can do is go back to content. And before we go to content, I just want to read out this. What is this comment? It's a nice little comment. All right, so comment on LinkedIn. All right, 10 years ago, we took over maintenance of paragraphs. Oh, nice. Oh, awesome. All right, we did a huge push. Hoped we could innovate so much more, but speed stalled due to very limited funding. There are still many open issues. Well, thank you very much for working on it. I mean, I still think, yeah, the UI for paragraphs is pretty powerful already. That's, yeah. I think, yeah, the Drupal, well, paragraphs, I know for me personally, paragraphs has pretty much powered every single site I've worked on for the last like 12 years. We've always utilized it. But no, it's a powerful module. All right. So we've set up the, what is it? The section component, the, what is it? And the widget and the formatter. Now what we need to do is configure, well, no, sorry, I'm a bit lost here. I'm just looking at the comments. Oh, I love your videos. No, thank you very much. Whoa. I think last week's live stream, there was not one comment. Now all of a sudden I'm getting bombarded from YouTube and LinkedIn. No, I love it. I love the comments. Makes it awesome. No, please, man. Please send all your comments through. I love it. I think everyone's back from their holidays, that's for sure. And it's a Friday night. It's a good way to spend your Friday night, actually. All right, so let's create a test page. So test page, and now we're getting different look and feel. And this is the biggest thing about layout paragraph, because essentially what you do is you create your section, and remember we selected available layouts, and then you add your paragraphs into those layout regions, and that's it. Okay, so that's the concept. Instead of just adding it as a single list using the standard paragraph widget, we now add it, we define the layout, and we add paragraphs into the actual layouts. So if we click on the plus icon, we can select section, and then we can go ahead and select the different layouts. And if we hover over one of these items, we get a nice little button, and we can say let's add in an image. Here, image 1, we can select one of our images, that's fine. We can also add an image, let's go here, add an image to the image 2. Let me put in this, here we go. This is my epic design skills. Well, no, these are just Canva images. Click on save. Okay, we're done there. And we can even throw in, let's throw in title and content. And you can also duplicate. So let's go ahead and move these paragraphs around, and then you click on save. Okay, and these are controlled that way. Okay, there you go. So layout paragraphs is very, very powerful, and I do recommend. I do have to give a shout out to this Mercury editor. It is a pretty good editor when it comes to using paragraphs, and this really utilizes paragraphs and also layout paragraphs. So if you want to have a look at just how powerful this functionality is, take a look at this Mercury editor. And the good thing is that pretty much works out of the box. You don't need to install a whole bunch of other modules. You just download it and it works. So that's pretty much it when it comes to paragraphs, okay? Paragraphs are great for structuring content. So you can go in there and you can structure your content, and the good thing is then you can create views, you can query that content. And in the past, I've used paragraphs to control layouts, as you can do, but I've also used paragraphs to control data, like a data schema for many things, like adding in a feature set where you can add in multiple feature sets. And I've utilized multiple paragraph types, and it's worked pretty well. I mean, the form was pretty big when you had it all working, but yeah, it works great for that. All right, now before we move on, there's a comment here. Okay, I've worked on a site with 2 level deep paragraphs with containing about 10 to 15 on a single node. Having this set up becomes hard for editors to understand the structure. With each level of paragraph, complexity multiplies. Absolutely, that's it. That explains it. I do love the last little bit. With each level of paragraphs, complexity multiplies. I'm going to give that a Thumbs up. Absolutely. Yes, that's correct. So yeah, when you have multiple levels of paragraphs, it starts to get pretty hard to maintain. But with great power comes great responsibility. I love that saying. And that's especially true with paragraphs. You need to understand its limitations and when to use it and when not to use it. All right. Now let's jump over and look at single directory components because that's probably what everyone's here for. Single directory components and Canvas. That is the talk of the town right now. That is the talk of the town. All right. Another comment here. Okay, I think creating beginner friendly content or streams will also be beneficial for the community as there isn't much up-to-date content to learn from. That is true. But the content is updated. The problem with that is that content, Drupal is changing at this point to a point where it's like every couple of months when it comes to like the AI stuff, I need to do a whole new set of videos if I wanted to keep that up to date. So it's good to see. But yeah, I do think Drupal needs more beginner content, beginner friendly content. And I will be working on that. Just have to kind of come up with some ideas. I need a nice way of spinning up a local Drupal site. There are a few options there. There's like Drupal Forge. I'll give a shout out to drupalforge.org if you want to spin up local, environments in the cloud. That's another way. There's also DDev, but DDev's kind of a difficult thing to set up. And I've had comments, especially when Drupal CMS version 1 came out and the recommended way was to install it was using DDev. There were some unhappy commenters complaining that, Drupal's still too hard to set up. But you've got that Drupal installer as well. So there's a few ways to install it. But yeah, I will look at that. But no, thank you for the feedback. It's good to know that. All right. So with Drupal Canvas and single directory components. Now, right now here, what you're looking at is version 2 of Drupal CMS. And so that comes with this brand new theme. And you can see it's an absolutely gorgeous looking theme. I must admit, like it's looking, it is very, very nice. And there is a dark mode and a light mode. This is of course the dark mode. And we have a few pages here. Got some nice pages. We've got a nice little, I hope you can see that in the stream, just above my head. Oh, not that way. Let me just bring this up. I'm trying to bring up the bottom part. Let me bring it up. You can see a web form down here, just above my head. Okay, you got web form there. And you do have a nice pricing page, resources, blog, which displays a listing. So you got all of that, absolutely all of that. And so what you can do is, let's log in first. And this is all Drupal CMS. So this is all available. I think it is the beta version. And out of the box, you get this nice little dashboard. I will do a proper in-depth version, live stream on using Drupal CMS once it stabilizes, but I think that's going to be pretty soon because it is up to beta. And you do get this nice backend. This is the Gin theme. And I feel like the Gin theme's been polished up. There is no way down here you had this, or maybe it did have a nice little, drop shadow. I feel like it's been cleaned up. Or maybe I'm just really long. No, I'm not zoomed in. Anyway. What I'm trying to say is that the backend Gin theme looks good. Okay, so let's take a look at single directory components, because if we jump into the code, and we will have to jump into the code, apologies for that. But believe it or not, we have to jump into the code. All right, so let me go to contrib byte. Now, the new theme, base theme is Mercury, and then the child theme is byte theme. Yes, that's the child theme. And so all single directory components, let me just call it components for now, okay? Just kind of keep things simple. Components are stored in a folder called components, essentially. And components are essentially just a collection of the base, the most important part is HTML. And so this twig template and a YAML file, which defines metadata about the component. So what parameters, or as they call it, props or slots, can get passed through. Now, you can add JavaScript and CSS. And the good thing is with components is that when you load up the component, Drupal's smart enough to come to this folder and see that, yes, we have a JavaScript and CSS, and he automatically loads it up and displays it for you and loads up the correct assets, and he handles everything for you. So you can load up that component in Twig, embed it, or include it, and he handles everything for you. Now, you can't attach fields to it. Okay, that's the biggest thing. It's not structured data. It is different to, say, paragraphs or block types. You can't attach fields to it because this is purely at the code level. And you do have basic components such as text. You take a look here, you will see you just have HTML, and you got a component which defines your props. Now, a lot of this logic is really just applying classes, and Mercury does use Tailwind, so that's why you see this amazing set of classes, because it's just Tailwind classes. And if you've used Tailwind in the past, and you know, then yeah, you're kind of used to this amount of classes and styles and things like that. But right here is where the magic happens. This is it. I mean, and everything else above it is for preparing things. So to prepare the classes. And then you also have pretty complex, what is it here? You have some components down here. You have other components that are including other components. So here's a perfect example of actually including a component. I'll make sure, no, my head's not covering it. So here's a perfect example, okay? We have an include. So a component can call other components, and it's calling up the icon. So that is this one right here. And it's passing in icon and icon size. And if we take a look at the components right here, we have icon and icon size as the props, okay? And that's it. That's pretty much the quick and dirty of single directory components. Now, components have been around in Drupal now for, well, it started off as a separate module, but it's been part of Drupal core for a while now. But only just recently has a community moved over and really embraced it, and like really utilizing it with Drupal Canvas and also the UI suite of modules as well. So you do have, let me jump over. I think I've got a link here. Yes. You do have this suite of modules essentially called UI suite. And what it does is that it gives you an interface for managing these components within Drupal, because as you've seen, everything is in code. And if you want to utilize some of these components, you need to override a template and then just pass things in yourself. But UI suite with the UI patterns, UI styles, it actually ships with a bunch of design systems that implement a lot of these components. So if we take a look at Bootstrap, good old Bootstrap, or let's take a look at also Daisy UI. If we take a look at the code, now I was going to cover this actual code, like show you how to set this stuff up, but then this live stream, yeah, would be like 3 hours long if I show absolutely everything. But I do have a video on using UI suite, especially the Bootstrap side of it. And I do want to, I'm in the process of doing another one with Daisy UI. But here you can see, you go to components and you've got your list of components right here. So if you want to define, say, a grid 1, you can see you have a twig, you have a twig file, and then you also have a components. Now you do have these stories. Now this is, I think, storybook or something. This shows you different variations of it. There's also variants as well. But one thing I have noticed, because everyone kind of implements, I've seen single directory components in a whole bunch of modules, and I've seen slight variations on the way things are done, because I've seen a few variants being used, like a YAML file with a variant. I think that's Storybook. Now, I'm still trying to learn a lot of this stuff as well. So yeah, like I'm building out sites, I'm testing them out, I'm building things. I'm actually just learning by just building things out. And I've got and I've built out a few websites. But you can see here, that a lot of the grunt work is done to just manage classes. You can see here, it just chucks in a lot of classes here. And that's the same for Daisy UI. If you have a look at the code, you can see that, yeah, there's a lot of components here. The Daisy UI theme is pretty cool. It handles, where is it? Even the nav bar. You've got navigation and it just does it all for you. Oh, that's a very basic version of it, but yeah, that's pretty much what it does. Okay. So then if we take a look at then Canvas, Canvas is just a interface for managing these components and adding them to a page. Okay. So what we can do, let's log in and let's take a look at our we'll look at Drupal Canvas. So here, if we click on pages, okay, we get this new tab. Now the pages on this tab are Canvas pages. So they are purely used for Drupal Canvas. They are entities, and the last time I checked, they're not fieldable. So if you come into, if you come to content, you will have your content types here. And this is the standard content, okay, that we all know and love. And if we go to structure content types, we will see utility page and blog post, but we won't see the Canvas page. So if we come along in here, say to the home page, okay, and click on edit, we get our nice new Canvas UI. Now, if you have used page builders in the past, this should all look familiar because they all kind of look the same. And so from the left-hand side, you can manage and see all of the components. So if you've used Gutenberg, that's probably, that's very similar UI. If you use Elementor, two page builders in, WordPress, it's very similar. I think even Gutenberg calls it patterns as well. Patterns are just a group of components that are just pre-packaged like a template. And then from here, you can simply click and drag items onto the canvas. You can then manage the layers or the structure of the page. You can create code components. So that's essentially a little JavaScript components you can create purely through the Drupal backend. Then you have your individual pages, and then finally you have your actual content templates. So this is essentially replacing, where is it here on blog? This is essentially replacing the manage display page. And this is interesting. I must admit, this is pretty interesting that we can control it from here. So let's quickly go ahead and create a custom page. Let's do that. So what we can do, come along in here, you can click on new, but you can also, let me open up this in a new tab. If you were to come to pages and then click on add page up the top here, it'll do the same thing. Come along here and click on add page. You can zoom in, zoom out, do whatever you want. Let me call this one test landing page. Test landing page. And let's go ahead and quickly search for section. So you want to add in a section component first. So that gives you, it's probably hard to see, but he says, but you have the slots here, okay? You have a slot called header, grid, and footer. Now, a component comes with props and slots. So the props you control from the right-hand side. So everything here on the right-hand side are props. So if we take a look here and go to, where is it, section, where is it? Here, section. Right up the top, you have section width. Take a look at that, section width, okay? That matches that drop down, okay? So section width right here matches it. Then you have columns, which is grid layout. Columns, well, that's the name, and then grid layout are the options right here. Then right down at the bottom, you define your slots, which is header, grid, and footer. The best way to think about it is when you define your props, you actually specify what type of data type it is. If it's going to be a string, if it's an object, if it's a Boolean. I think you've got list. Do you have list? Oh no, you do have a special one for media. There's a few of them. There are a few options here. You can put in a enom, so that's a list. Yeah. But with slots, slots essentially can handle other components within them. So that is the biggest difference, okay? So if you want to allow child components within other child components, then make it a slot. Or from a Drupal standpoint, if you want to allow render arrays or render elements within an area, then make it a slot. But then other than that, it should be a prop. And I think in React and all that, it's got a similar component, similar terminology and things like that. So that's kind of how you kind of merge them up. Okay. So all we need to do is now build out this page. So if we click on section, we can, and my head is right in the way, but if I pop this up, oh, there we go. You can, if you see here, we can show or hide the header or footer, okay? Now, the tricky part with components, I think, especially when you build them out, is trying to decide what props trying to decide what's a prop and what's a slot. But then at the same time, what type of props do I need to give? What type of drop downs do I want to allow? Because you can kind of see here that with this section component, we can control the margin top, the margin bottom, the padding top, the padding bottom. But what about the padding left, padding right, margin left, margin right? There is a lot more options you can control from here that you may want to control if you are using this to build out a standard landing page. I do know from personal experience, because I do use WordPress and I use Gutenberg, that there are some plugins out there that allow you to control a lot more stuff than here. But that's a thing that, I don't know, the community may have to think about. It's like, how do you give your users an interface that has complex fields on it? Or, like, I don't know, there's got to be, there's going to be use cases for that. I can guarantee there's going to be use cases for that. All right, so let's quickly just build out this page. Let's search for heading. Click and drag. Let's add heading to header, and we can make a change here. So let's put in test landing page, and look, it automatically updates. Like, that is pretty cool. Okay, that is awesome. Change the heading size. Let's make that an H. Well, H1, or make it H2. Make it bigger. Oh, inverted. Oh, okay, that covers it. That's pretty cool. And let's center it. And let's put in text. And let's center that. Yeah, see, in this case, I want to be able to control the margin and padding. That's going to be interesting. I wonder if in the future you're going to be able to have another tab up the top here where you can select another option, or this form's going to be it's going to be massive. All right, so we've added in a header and footer, and now what we can do is we can chuck in card components. So and then right click and duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. And we can even adjust and add in a background image. So let's add in a background image. And look at that. Like that looks pretty cool. I must admit, that looks pretty awesome. And we can adjust column, like the grids. Like there is a lot you can do here with Canvas. And we can also, preview works as well, which is great. You can see the different sizes. And if we click on review and save it, you can save it, and you got your new page. And that's it. Well, let's just jump out of here. Go to test landing page, and we've got a new page. And if you've set up Canvas, so let's go back here and edit. If you've set up Canvas to take over all of your regions, like the header and footer, you can click into your regions, and you can add in a button. So where is that? Pop it in right there. I can add in a button, put in something, and then click on save. Now you've got a button. And you've added it to the header region, which is then used across the whole site. And you've got a button over there. Okay. So that is a quick overview of Canvas, okay? And just how to manage your single directory components. All right, so we have a comment here. Okay, I think it needs permissions to reduce options so content editors can only edit what's been built in some cases. Well, that's it. Yeah. No, I totally agree. This is just version 1 of Canvas. There's so many, like, straight away, I think you're going to reach limitations. I think there's things such as conditional components, being able to show or hide components conditionally, having some type of flow where you only want to display, say, logged in components. And with blocks, you can do that. That is one thing. Also, controlling which forms are available based off roles is very important. Being able to control perhaps which components are visible as well is important. And all of that stuff, like, yeah, all that stuff needs to be thought about. All right. So now let me just quickly show you how to create a single directory component using Drush. So we're going to be using Drush, which is a command line tool, or as I've heard it being called before, Drush. Always love that. Always love that. But yes, Drush. So what we're going to do now is jump over to our code. So where is it? No, not there. Jump over here. I love that comment. Yeah, today I'll launch the site into production. We'll see how it goes on the cutting edge. Well, that's good. It's the best way of doing it. Okay. So what we're going to do now is just create a single directory component. And what I want to do is call, what is it? Drush. Wait, have I zoomed in? Let me just zoom in a bit more so it's visible. Okay, so this is Drush, ddev, because I'm using ddev, generate. And what you want to do is use the generate command, because the generate command allows you to just, generate a whole bunch of stuff in Drupal. Now, of course, I could use AI to do this, but it's always good to give AI generated code. Trust me, you don't want to give it because I mean AI hasn't trained on all this new information. So the one that we want to create is this SDC. So what I'll do is I'll clear this and I'll call up generate SDC. And now we can do is add in our machine name. So you want to make sure your theme is actually installed. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. So go ahead and install your theme. And if you don't see it, and if it doesn't appear in the autocomplete, that means it's not going, that means you won't be able to generate it and it's not going to install it. And now our code component, our component is going to be called just www.text. Keep it simple. That's the machine name. Used for text, I'll give it that. Used for text, text. Don't need library dependencies. Oh, yeah, fine. Yeah, put JavaScript, CSS, whatever. All right, props. All right. Need component props. I'll say yes. And the title of this one's going to be called, I'll just call it title. Machine name is that. And let's give it a string. And then the next one will be, yep. And this one will be called, what will I call this one? I'll just call this one content. Keep it simple. Make that a string as well. All right, no, don't want to add another one. No, we don't want to add in any slots. And it's done. Okay. Now, if we jump over to our code, we should see, there we go, right here, www text. And if we have a look in there, all right, we have a few options here. We have a bit of code, a bit of CSS, and we have our components, and we have our Very, very basic div right here. Now, what we need to do is we do need to just clean this up. So I will copy over, because I can't be bothered typing. Let me put in the first one. So all we need to do is first of all define a string type. So the type is string, the title. Well, the actual component is called title, but it's all called title as well. And the default will be just add title, and then you have a few examples. Now for content, because we want that to be a rich text prop, what we can do is we can utilize the content media type and then pass in text/HTML. And I do recommend that when you start playing around with components, look at other components, how they are built, because you will learn a lot and you can easily just figure it out. And last but not least, let me just add in these props to our Twig template. And all we need to do is just pass in a variable with the same name, so title and content. And what I'll do is I will just, well, no, I still want that div. So let me just pop this in, pop it in, and that's it. And let's go ahead and clear the cache. Give that a moment. All right, so one question here. All right. When doing this properly, you need to create a custom theme first and then customize that. Yes. Well, it's best to, first create your theme, because your components go in your theme. Your components can go in modules, I believe, but generally they are in themes. And one page to be aware of, and this is important when you're creating your components, is that if you go into Appearance, you will see this new tab called Components. And this shows you all of the available components on your site, and you can enable or disable. And importantly, if we go to next, we should see our component right here. But if you audit one of these components, you can see exactly which page they appear on, which content template they appear on, and also patterns, and also which regions are used as well. So this is a great way of understanding where the component is, because one thing to be aware of is that as soon as you start using a component, you really can't change the props at all. So that's just one thing to be aware of, okay? You cannot change the props after the component's been created. You can change it if you then remove it and take things out, and take the component out of all your content. So I don't know how we're going to be handling, like, what's the plan for versioning components in the future? I have no idea. I think I've brought this up in a previous live stream as well. I've got, it's going to be interesting to see, because it kind of makes it a bit, scary creating components, because you're really thinking, okay, what type of props am I going to put in? I have to make sure I've got all these props, and want to, because as soon as you create it, that's it. You're locked in. You are locked in. All right. Once we have everything sorted out here, let's go to our page, and we should see our www text. There we go. It's right there. And if we chuck that in, right down at the bottom, you will see, there you go. You will see our component right down at the bottom being displayed. And you saw, like, creating a component is very easy. And that's one thing I love about Drupal Canvas. And one of the first live streams where I think it's how to create a basic Tailwind theme and use Canvas. The goal of that live stream was to see just how easy it is to set up just a basic setup. Because that's how I kind of learn things. It's like, I see all these complex themes and things like that, but what is the basics? Like, what is the simplest way of setting this stuff up? And it's actually relatively simple, and it works. And it works very, very well. All right, so if we go in there, save, let's go to the home page. Well, let's go to our test landing page. Let me just turn off, aggregation. Do I have aggregation turned on or off? Let me have a look. Oh yeah, I do have it turned on, because then what we can do is take a look and see. Let's go to, where is it? Performance, development settings. I'll turn that on and I will go into configuration, performance, and turn this stuff off. Okay. Now, if we refresh and inspect, we should see, there we go. We should see our actual CSS, which is great. So that's been loaded up, and we should see our JavaScript. And the good thing is, if you've done any Drupal theming, you may have noticed that we didn't have to set up any type of libraries. And what I mean by that is we didn't have to come along in here and where is it? Come into libraries and set any of this stuff up. Drupal was smart enough to come along and see that, yep, we are using the text component and just load everything up. Oh, thanks. I've got a super comment in YouTube. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Ah, nice little. Oh, nice. Thank you very much. Glad you're enjoying things. All right. So that's really the good part of components. You don't have to deal with libraries and manually making sure things are getting sorted out. And the other thing you can also do, and this is one thing that I recently discovered, is that you can override. There is, I think, what is it? When did I see that? I believe you can override. Yeah, you can also, there's also library override. So you can override other libraries as well, which is pretty cool. I do like that. There's a fair bit of stuff that is pretty powerful. All right, so now that we've got everything set up, let's just quickly take a look and see how this is structured in the database, because that's another important thing to be aware of. So let's jump over to this database. Now, I am using DDev and Adminer for this great backend. Somebody really needs to give us better looking. Right, remember PHP My Admin? Yeah, somebody really needs to fix these things up, because PHP My Admin was, yeah, I use PHP My Admin a lot. I think it's due for a refresh. Okay. I'm just checking out. The stream's still running? Yeah, it is. All right, good. I don't know. I've got a bit of fear of stream dropping because it's dropped a few times. Oh, no. No, it's all good. We are going. No, it's all good. All right. So now if we take a look at here, let's just refresh and search for Canvas. You will see that you do get these tables right here. And if you click on table, pretty much every component that gets added to a page is added as a row. So it's not like it's one big blob of data that's thrown into a text area, essentially. It is it's a component for each row. So each row defines a component. And if we take a look at and edit one of these, you will see that you have the components slot, what component it's used, and also a serialized array of the props. So that's why I was saying it's like sometimes, well, you can't actually update. It's been you can't actually update the props and slots once you have used a component. So that's one thing to be aware of. All right, so that's pretty much just, what is that? Half an hour probably explaining things of how to use components and Canvas and things like that. And that's a quick overview. Now, there's a lot to Canvas and components, and I've got a few, and I've got 2 other videos probably on that stuff. So if you want to learn more about it, but at the end of the day, just have a look and see how things are implemented, especially Drupal, Drupal CMS. All right, so we have a comment here. Okay, with each being recorded, doesn't that put a lot of strain on the database? That's a lot of calls. I don't think so. I mean, databases are built for that. And at the end of the day, it is just calling out all the rows based off entity ID. And you do have caching involved as well. So Drupal has entity caching. So once it loads it all up, it will cache it. Okay, comment here. Okay, if you do need to update props, but already used it, you can make a new one, then migrate existing ones. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably the best way of doing it, but I don't know how automated that can be of creating a new one. But then do you put a version in front of your component's name? Because you're only going to have, say, one heading component. So do you put like heading, like V1 underscore heading, V2 underscore heading? I don't know. Like I really haven't been in that situation yet. I haven't, and I don't know. This is bound. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to do mapping. I'm just trying to think. Well, no, it shouldn't be that hard because as long as okay, you can't have a component with the same name. Fair enough, but it shouldn't be that hard to write a module that can handle moving a component because you know the schema of each component. So you can easily just map the fields across and say, well, sorry, the props or slots, and you can say, okay, I want these props and slots migrated over to this prop and slot in a new component, and then just press a button, and Drupal should be able to go through and just update everything for you. It shouldn't be that hard. I mean, like the hardest thing with migration is dealing with dirty data and data that hasn't been normalized. But if it's been, but you have a schema for each, you have props and slots. Who knows? Okay. All right. So there's a comment here. All right. So it's been, all right. Can you give me a quick Reader's Digest version of where you are with paragraphs, components, and blocks debate? Huh. Well, okay. Well, let me just reiterate what I said in the beginning. I mean, they're 3 different things. They're all used for 3 different stuff. So paragraphs is great for structured content or structured components that you want to add to a content type, and you want to manage all of that through the Drupal edit form. Components or single directory components are done purely in code. That's it right here. They're done purely in code. And they come with just a component, an HTML, and optionally JavaScript and CSS. And you manage those components and yet you manage those components using either Drupal Canvas or the UI suite of modules. And then blocks can be fieldable. They can add to regions. And we're going to be talking about blocks right now. So that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. Well, before we jump on, okay. Do you use ddev xbdev for tinkering with Canvas locally? Would you recommend one? When it comes to, well, no, you can install Canvas on in any environment now. It's a version 1. So when I played around with Drupal Canvas and Tailwind, that is a standard Drupal site. So you can install it on anywhere. This site right here is a Drupal CMS version 2. That's it. So just install it. Drupal Canvas is pretty stable. You can install it on pretty much any site. Oh, I do like the comment. Maybe they're looking at seeing, yeah, to add a paragraph into Canvas. Oh, yeah, maybe add paragraphs into Canvas. Yeah, who knows? But I should also mention that blocks as well can be exposed as components that can be added. So right here, these are blocks that can be added to the canvas, but they're not single directory components, if you know what I mean. This is where it can kind of be a bit confusing for first timers. So these are technically blocks, but they are blocks, but you can add them to a canvas, but you can't include them like you can on a single directory component. Yeah. Ugh. All right. So let's now. All right. Well, before we jump into things, yep, I opted to use Drupal 11 and install Canvas on top of that rather than Drupal CMS. Well, that's it. Yeah, if you want to play with Drupal Canvas, just install it on standard Drupal core, like Drupal 11. It's fine. It works. It works pretty well. All right. So let me go to my awesomely designed one-page slideshow. So we looked at paragraphs. We've looked at SDC or components or single directory components. All right. So are the components reusable? Yes, you can reuse them. Absolutely. Now let's take a look at blocks. Okay, so blocks have been around Drupal for a very long time. They've gone through a few iterations, but essentially a block is a bit of content which can be fieldable, or it can be implemented in code, and it generally gets added to a region. So if we go to, well, not this site, but let's go to, where is it, my test site right here. I come along in here, structure, layouts, you'll see all the blocks over here. And if I go block regions, and we can also add it in right here. And so you can see all of the regions. So primary menu, secondary menu, highlighted, breadcrumb, content above, content, and so on and so forth. And so what we can do is if you have block content enabled, which is a module, this allows you to create block types. So here we have a basic block with fieldable elements. So we can add in custom fields and we can just go ahead, add a content block. We'll call this one sidebar. Sidebar, what is it? Sidebar goes here. Click on save. And then we go to structure and we can then add that block into, where is it? Sidebar, it's somewhere here. Into the sidebar. And now this block is there. Now we go to the home page and you can see it here on the right-hand side. All right, there's a comment here. All right, how does one get it from code to something useful on a page? This is a comment from YouTube. Well, you can use Drupal Canvas, you can use UI Suite for it, or you can add it to a page through code essentially. But Canvas and UI Suite is the best way of doing it at this point. And that's what Drupal Canvas is all about, just adding in those components to pages. Okay, so we've got this block right here. And what we can do is, where is it? Now, one thing I do like about blocks, okay, is that if you go and configure the block, you have these visibility settings. So you can control exactly when the block is displayed. And this is very useful. And this is something you can't do with components yet. And I'm sure it's going to come out. I'm sure it's very important. But what you can do is come along in here and specify exactly which page the block should be displayed on, or which role the block should be shown to. So there's yeah, there's a lot of variety when it comes to these visibility settings, and there are a lot of contrib modules that add extra plugins for the visibility. So you do get that ability when it comes to using blocks. And if we go to the page, so let's go to, what is it here? Paris, and search for block, you will see that you have fields. Again, these are fieldable entities. So this means you can easily query it. So you can see here, sidebar goes here, and it's a great way of just displaying your structured content, but as a block. And I have heard that people have essentially used blocks instead of paragraphs, where you can use blocks with, what is it? Inline entity form to create that type of interface for managing your blocks at the node edit page instead of using paragraphs. So you have that option. All right, so we have another comment here from YouTube. All right, okay. Is time better spent using Drupal CMS or Drupal core to tinker with Canvas? You know what? It doesn't matter. Like, well, install Drupal CMS version 2. You need to install version 2, have a play with it. What I recommend you do is just install both and see which one works best. I think Drupal CMS will probably for playing around because you do have a theme already built for it and it already comes working. So have a look at using Drupal CMS for it. Now, the other thing you can do is you can implement blocks in code. So let's go ahead and do that. That's a cool way of managing blocks. So what we can do is, let me jump over to this tab because we're using two different websites. Normally I use one website for each stream, but today I'm using two. So we can type in ddev generate, and I do believe it is grep blocks. The generate blocks. Yeah, it is. All right, cool. But what we need to do is first of all create a module. So I'll go in there and go generate module, and I'll give this www custom used for stream. Do we want to create? No, we don't want to. Don't want any of that. All right. So now what we can do is we have a, where is it? Do I even have? No, I don't. Where is my, let me bring it up. Okay. So bring all that stuff up. All right. Let me have a look at the code. It's pretty much just a YAML file at this point. All right. So now what we can do is we can come along in here and type in, well, no, I need to, first of all, enable the custom module. Always forget that. Let's go ahead and enable it. And now we can go block and we can autocomplete. Now you want to make sure your module is enabled or you can't select it. The block label will be called, let's just call it sidebar content. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Keep it simple and that's it. And now if we jump over to our code, we should see our block has been implemented this way. And this technically works. This is a good thing. And you can see that everything's been updated to these attributes, which is great. And this is pretty modern PHP, which is good. And we can easily just add this by going to our website. Okay, so modules are already installed, which is correct. Let me remove this one from the block, from the sidebar. And all I need to do is come in here, block content, go to scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, click on sidebar. I shouldn't have. Oh, here we go. Sidebar content, place it, hit save blocks. And now it should be, there you go, on the right-hand side. Has it works. Come here, and here it is. Here's our block. it works. And I think if I change it, something else, probably have to clear the cache. Have to clear the cache. Oh, let's go there, clear the cache. And then now it says it works. There you go. So that's how you add in a block as a plugin. So that is a block implemented in code. But blocks can be also added through views. So you can create, I think, a derivative block. I think that's what it's called, where you can have blocks and that's what it is in Canvas. You can have your blocks that are implemented as a derivative plugin can be then displayed and added as a component. And so you can see that, yeah, the use of blocks is everywhere in Drupal. And in the past, I've used block content a lot to create, say, call to actions, newsletters, and things like that. It's been very useful for that. Now, I just want to finish things off by taking a look at Layout Builder, because that is another thing to be aware of. Now, at first I was umming and ahhing if I should cover Layout Builder, because I feel like Drupal Canvas is replacing Layout Builder, okay? But I couldn't finish this, I couldn't talk about blocks without mentioning, oh, you can also use Layout Builder for it as well to manage it. So I'll just quickly show you. So if we search for layouts, we'll see Layout Builder. Let's go ahead and install it. And what you can do is you can attach it to a view mode. So let's attach it to the full content view mode. Let's go to full content. Let's switch it on. And you can also allow people to modify and override it on a per content item basis. But let's just set it as kind of like at the layout level, at the template level. So you can see here, we've got it. You can show a preview, but I tend to turn that off because it's sometimes a pain to work with because it just displays too many things. And you can click and drag and move things around. You can add in another section. And make sure my head's not covering it. No, it's not. You can add a layout. And then you can click on add block. You can search for your sidebar. So you can add in sidebar content. You can also add in, where's my sidebar? Is my sidebar content there? There it is. Add both in there. And click on save. And now if we go to, what is it? Basic page, we should see our sidebar content right here. And also the rest of the fields are getting added below. Now, Layout Builder will still be around, because I had this conversation this week about, with Layout Builder, can you fully uninstall it? But if you're using, say, Drupal CMS or the navigation module, it's still used for the dashboard. So a lot of this stuff is still Layout Builder. And I do believe if you go to, where did I see that? I've seen it in navigation. Navigation settings. Oh no, navigation blocks, sorry. Edit mode. Now, okay, this is also controlled by Layout Builder. So you can add in custom blocks to your navigation if you are using I do believe this is the navigation module, which is a new core module, which is officially stable. So you can come along in here and just add in blocks to it. Now, I'm sure this will be changing sometime in the future, but that's just one thing to be aware of. So even though you have Drupal CMS with all the fancy stuff, with fancy Canvas, you still need Layout Builder. All right, there's a comment there. Okay, there are thousands of existing sites using Layout Builder that will be maintaining, that won't be able to switch to Canvas right away. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I do wonder how hard it will be with AI to migrate, because if everything's a block, I'm trying to think. It shouldn't be that. I don't want to say it shouldn't be hard, because I'm sure, because migration is always a pain to deal with. But if everything's a block, why couldn't you do a one-for-one? And with AI, get AI to do most of the work for you. Anyway. But yeah, layout builder is going to be around for a while. Absolutely, it's going to be around for a while. All right, so that is pretty much it. So again, paragraphs. Use paragraphs for nice structured content that gives you a nice UI for managing them on the edit page. Use components and single directory components or SDC or single directory components at the code level, which then you can add to Canvas pages, or you can use via the UI suite of modules. And I would recommend that you have a look and play around with UI suite. It is pretty powerful, and the stuff that the team's doing around it is pretty cool. I've seen some great things around it. And finally, with blocks, blocks are added to regions, and pretty much a lot of Drupal, can be exposed as blocks. So views can be exposed as blocks. There's a lot you can do. All right, well, that is it from me. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about Drupal, head over to webwash.net. And yeah, I do have a bunch of tutorials that are going out. I have to do some more, honestly. Recent tutorials that have text versions for a bunch of other live streams that I've done as well. And yeah, you can see here I've got 2 that are for Search API and also Search API. For Search API and Search API, what is it? With PDF docs. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all next week. All right. Comments. This is where all the fun part happens. Nah, after the fact. All right. So, comment. Radix or Artisan be better for theming? Well, my first question is, do you want to use Bootstrap or Daisy UI? That's the most important thing. That's the question you should be asking. Because if you're happy with using Bootstrap, then go for Radix. If you want to use Tailwind and Daisy UI, use Artisan. That's my 2 cents worth. I actually covered Artisan last week. Was it last week? No, it wasn't. Wait, I don't know. I totally forgot. Was it last week? Oh yeah, no, it was last week. So I do have a live stream. Let me bring that up. Right here. Oh, cool. Oh, zoom out a little bit more. So I do have one on under live. There is Daisy. I've got Daisy UI there. I think I've done one on Radix as well. I've done a few on Radix. I like Radix. Oh, there you go. I've done a few. Oh, going back. Oh, yeah. But yeah, there is one on, but yeah, so that's kind of the question. If you want to use Tailwind, oh, got another super comment. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh no, thank you for everyone joining. I really appreciate it. I love all the comments. It's been awesome. So next week, we're going to do a birthday edition because it's Drupal's 20. Oh, I hate to say that, 25th birthday. I think my Drupal account is like 18 years old now. It's an adult. No, it's an adult. What's it? A teenager? No. Well, what is it that 18-year-old? They're not a teenager. They're technically an adult, well, depending which country. When you're 18, I know in Australia you can do whatever you want, essentially. Scary. But yeah, coming back to Radix and Artisan, both use single directory components. Utilize it a lot. Out of the box, when it comes to Canvas, you may have to probably tweak and ship your own components for Canvas because a lot of them. Well, what's my user ID? Oh, well, that stuff. I don't know. What is it? Let me check my user ID. I don't know. I'm probably. Oh, where is it? Wait, let me just check my user ID. I'm curious. No, I think I'm like 86,000 or something. Oh yeah, I'm like 86,000. Here we go. No, I am 86,000, but my user account is now, yeah, 19 years, sorry, 19 years and 2 months. Wow, that's wild. But no, my one's 86, I think. Yeah. Oh, people have mentored me. But you can see here, 86,000. Oh no, what are you? 30, 33,000. Oh, that's awesome. No, sorry, 34,000. No, man. Keep the questions coming. All right. Question LinkedIn. All right. Do you recommend that we adopt Canvas and commit to it from now on? Oh, that's a tough question. I don't, you, yeah, I don't know. To commit to it, um, test it out. You need to test it out. If you're starting a brand new project, I'm old. I don't know. That's a hard one. Right now, I think the community is moving towards Drupal Canvas, and I do feel as if you do need to adopt it. But I don't know. I don't know what the future's going to hold because I feel like Drupal Canvas is kind of like version 2 of Layout Builder. And Layout Builder was good, but you still utilize a lot of paragraphs. But I do think, well, the issue with Layout Builder is that it took a lot of extra work to kind of make it look nice, because of the what is it, system tray and things like that. But with Canvas, it's very simple out of the box straight away. And that I think is a huge difference because I know when I installed Layout Builder, it was like, all right, cool. Yeah, Layout Builder works great. But when you try to set it up on a standard theme or a theme that doesn't support Layout Builder, you need to spend a lot of time theming. Whereas with Canvas, you can chuck it in, you can chuck it on any theme, and the theme doesn't control the look and feel of Canvas. So out of the box, the developer experience is very good. It's very quick and easy to set things up. But there are a few things to be aware of with Canvas. Okay. Yeah, the perfect comment. They're ripping off panels. That is a conversation I had today. I will tell you this right now. Exactly. Canvas is is like panels in Drupal 6, but remember panels and panelizer. And I remember in Drupal 6, and I still and I will die by this statement. For me personally, Drupal 6 was the most versatile version of Drupal, purely because you had modules that actually gave you a product out of the box. Whereas with Drupal now, all the modules are kind of like toolboxes or something to to kind of build on top of. But you don't really get products by just installing a module. Um, but panels had awesome a plugin system thanks to what was it, Chaos Tools or something, or was Chaos Tools back then? Drupal 6? Because I remember the maintainer of views worked on um more than Drupal 7? Yes, I think so. I think so. Drupal 6, yeah. Because in Drupal 6, you had user statuses, you had no, what was it? You had like user relationships. You could create pretty much a Facebook out of the box. You had, what was it? Location module. You had so many modules that you just build something and you got something out of the box. You had the FB module. I remember the Facebook module, the FB module to integrate Facebook and things like that. Yeah, Earl. Yeah, was it Merlin of Chaos? He worked on views, and then views came into core. But panels, yeah, I mean panels. You could do conditional stuff and do context and all these all this crazy stuff with panels. Yeah, those were the days. Oh, okay, cool. I used to work with him. Yeah, good old days of Drupal. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Canvas is the new layout builder, and there are still a few things to be aware of. Like you can't let's go back here. Where is it? So let's go. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's the whole conditional logic. So to conditionally show or hide a component can be, well, you can't do that. I do think some like this form stuff on the right hand side will have to be tweaked because these forms are going to get big if you want full control. Maybe a new tab over there, or maybe being able to click on it, having things appear in a modal, things like that. Oh, cool. Thanks. Added me as a mentor. Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it. Oh yeah. I see that's a good point. Yeah. I don't like all the dependencies that we have these days. Well, on one side, when it comes to these dependencies, especially with Drupal, oh, Panoply, yes. Oh, God. That brings back memories. Well, that's it. One of the good things about having like all these dependencies is that it's great when modules integrate with views, because if you know how to use views, you know how to use the module. Okay, so is it necessary to make Canvas available for all types of nodes? No, 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 you don't have to. You don't. You can easily create well, let me show you. I mean, well, let me bring it up. Let me bring up my site that I've worked on. So I will show you a basic setup. Which one is it? So you can actually use Canvas just for the page building functionality and then use everything else like good old fashioned. I don't want to say good old fashioned Drupal, but just doing things the way we always used to in Drupal land. You can do that. But if let me stop that one and let me go there. And let me bring this up. Let me give this a moment. That's stopped. Let me bring up, hopefully I've still got this project, but this is pretty much just a Tailwind setup, a very basic setup. And I've got a live stream on this. So if you want to follow it, I do need to finish off the tutorial for it. That is, where is it? Tailwind. Oh no, that's right. That stream failed. So it is not under live. It is under here. So I do cover basic Tailwind CSS theme setup for Drupal Canvas. This goes for like nearly 2 hours. And I do want to get the code onto GitHub, and I am working on that. But essentially, it's going really slow today, isn't it? What you can do, well, yeah, you can use Canvas for news pages, articles, if you like. Absolutely, you can. That's an interesting comment. Yeah. Well, I don't mind Composer. Yeah, it's like, yeah, the comment is here. Yeah, I don't even like Drush and Composer, especially Composer. I don't like the dependency. I don't mind it. I do remember Drush and Drush Make. Those they were like YAML files, weren't they, in their own right? YAML files like Drush Make used to, or like would build stuff like that. But yeah, I mean the ability to just move a module around with, but at first Composer was annoying, but I kind of got used to it. But if we go to, where is it? Is this set up? All right, cool. It has. All right. So here, what is it? Drush ULI. So this is a stock standard Drupal with Tailwind, and it's pretty basic. I mean, it's now I've got a whole live stream on it, but the components are just a set of components, and the magic really happens in a V. So I've got a V set up right here that just compiles this style.css, pulls in a few source items, compiles it, and that's it. It's pretty basic. Then here, if we go to, where is it? Now let me just copy paste this. And go to the home page. Yeah. So I've got these card components and this header component right here. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, back in the day, I just download stuff. Absolutely, yep. All right, so comment there. All right, what do you see as limitation of Canvas? Canvas compared to paragraphs. Well, the current limitations with Canvas and paragraphs is, well, right now, you can add paragraphs into content types through the edit screen. You can't really do that with Canvas. So Canvas is great at handling layouts, and paragraphs can be great at handling layouts, but you can't have right now an easy way of adding in your components through the node edit screen. So if you want to do that, then you will have to use paragraphs for that. And also just the structured data nature. Oh, I am an Agar guy. I've not heard that word for ages. I used Agar to manage WebWash back in the day when it was Drupal 6. I think I was hosting on like Rackspace when they used to do cloud stuff. And yeah, Agar, it's old school, man. Agar was awesome. It was always a bit of a scary process deploying with Agar because sometimes it will fail and you have no idea why. But I mean, this was actually relatively simple to set up. And here, if we go to, what is it, pages, I think I've got, what is about us? Yeah, so this is all still controlled via standard Drupal. Contact us is still, all this stuff is controlled by standard Drupal. This is all standard Drupal stuff. But the home page is Drupal Canvas. This is actually pretty good. I'm pretty proud of myself figuring this stuff out. Actually looks pretty good. But if we come here and edit, we have our components here. I don't know why. I feel like the toolbar adds this in. But if we go ahead, we can manage a whole bunch of stuff from here. And you can just manage all these things. And this is actually relatively easy. Like you can see here, this is what a bunch of standard components look like. If you just want to be very, very basic with your components. I think it's 5 or 6 components. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can use Canvas to build out your news pages. Yes, you can. You can do that. You absolutely can do that. You can come along in here and build out content pages, but this is essentially just replacing the content, the manage field page. So what is it? Manage fields and things like that. But you can see it's actually pretty powerful stuff. I like it. Good stuff. So there you go. Now for next week, it's going to be Drupal birthday party, which is pretty cool. It's going to be fun. And well, it's going to be. So next week's all about Drupal's 25th birthday. It's going to be interesting. Now, yes, yeah, this is in Canvas. So this is just a random homepage which I created, just like a header, component, and all that stuff. So you can easily come along in here, create another page. Yeah, yes, it's Canvas. So we can come along in here, create another landing page. No, it's Drupal 11. Landing page. Oh, where is it? So that's empty. And if we come along in here, what is it? Put in a header component. Oh, no, not that header component. What I want is what is it? Hero. Let's put in a hero image. We need to add an background image. So let me put on, I don't know, this one, for example. And you can change all that stuff. Then you can put in a section component, put in a card component. And then you can go ahead and duplicate. And see, this is pretty cool. Like once you've got it all set up, it's pretty quick. And I can then put in a title. And that's it. I can switch it. And I can even put in, I think, views as well, if you like. You can control all that stuff. Now, I do not know. I think Drupal, is it just Drupal Canvas 11? Oh, yeah, it's 11.2 and up. So, yeah, you want to be on Drupal. Yeah, you want to be on, what is it? Drupal 11. That's it. So, yeah, there is a lot you can do here. A lot you can do. So I do feel that, yeah, there are point, like, I don't know. The interface for managing, yeah, this Canvas stuff is pretty good. It is pretty cool. And I do cover how to use AI to generate some of these pages in one of these live streams. I think it was, yeah, this one. First look at Drupal CMS version 2 plus Drupal Canvas. There's a whole bunch of AI stuff that you can do and just generate a page and it builds it out for you. It's still hit or miss sometimes, because AI never does the same thing twice. So you give it the exact same prompt, and of course, when you're testing it out, it works flawlessly, and then as soon as you're on live, it doesn't. I need to do probably a few more videos where, what is it? Where I just record it instead of going live. Okay, so there's a comment here. My project specifies that all content types use the same set of blocks and components. Okay, yeah, that's relatively fine. This means that news events can use the same paragraphs as content pages. Well, then, yeah, in that case, then you'll have to use paragraphs. Well, yeah, you can't at this point. There's no easy way of adding in components. How can I say it? So the good thing about paragraphs is that you can easily create your article and just add the paragraph types into a page. At this point, I don't think Canvas is there yet. It is kind of like just building one-off pages. So yeah. All right, unfortunately, because I use Aga for managing my sites, I'm hitting the ceiling at D10. Well, yeah, that's it. You are. Well, yeah, I mean, Drupal 11, especially 11.3, I think has HTMX in core now, which I want to play around with. That seems pretty cool, especially for front end stuff. So yeah, there's a lot you can do there. There is a lot. I do want to. I think somebody did mention in one of my live streams of doing a live stream on using Drupal as a framework and trying to do everything in code. And I was like, you know what, that's interesting. How lean can you have Drupal? I mean, you can get AI to write a lot of it, but there's a lot you can do with Drush. What is it? Drush Generate. But I spent a lot of money getting AGA compatible, so I don't want to feel like I've wasted my money. Oh yeah, the sunken cost fallacy. Yeah, absolutely. When if you've spent a fair bit of time setting things up, absolutely. That's the only reason why I do these live streams, because I spend so much time in Drupal. I'm like, no, I'm dry. I do want to cover other things. I will look at playing around with other things. Oh, pre-CCK days. Oh, yeah, yeah. Content creation kit. CCK. If only I can offload that final 777 site. Yeah, I remember pre-CCK days. Yes. What was it? Ah, creating, yeah, content typing code. Absolutely. Yeah. Creating content types in code. And then now, like when you think about it with config and all that, it's all in code anyway. Yeah, absolutely. But I think you could do some pretty cool things like using Drupal as a framework, but where you don't write any code. But then you kind of lose the content types. Content types are useful. You don't want to create a custom entity for absolutely everything. Yeah, anyway, that would be a good one. And just see how far you go. And I think if you do like HTMX on the front end, you can have a really lean front end and keep it as, and hopefully it's pretty responsive. Because there are some cool tools out there for I know like what is it, Laravel and all that, where you can do where it makes it very easy to do headless stuff. And also the same as Symfony. You have Symfony UX components. Some cool things. Whereas with Drupal we have behaviors, which is good. But with HTMX in core, probably do some awesome stuff. DrupalCon. Well, I haven't gone to a DrupalCon in a while. Not planning to go. Well, I'm based in Europe, so I don't. Yeah, I mean, for me to get out of Europe is a bit expensive, and also I've got kids and all that, so taking time off at this point is a bit. It's hard for me to justify going to a DrupalCon because I have to pay for myself, and so yeah, I do want to this year go to more Drupal camps around here, especially in Europe. Hopefully, get some time, but even that, like for me to fly around, is pretty expensive right now, and it's really cold. Are you going to DrupalCon? I mean, which one? North America, Europe? I mean, that's the only regions that they're at this point. I had one in Japan last year. Oh no, that was Drupal South. Sorry. What was it a DrupalCon? I don't know. All right, that was a fun night. Okay, well, let's just finish things up. Oh, I've got a lot of comments. Even Restream, which is what I use to stream on multiple platforms, is telling me, congratulations, you received 100 messages today. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Must be a lot of messages. Absolutely awesome. All right. Well, let's just finish up. Hope everyone had a great evening. Well, yeah. No, it's funny you should say that. Yeah. I mean, with DrupalCon, I always try and submit a session because it just gets too, like for me, because I pay my own way, I don't have a company that pays for me. I try and get a free ticket by submitting a session or something like that. And the last time for the one in Vienna, I tried to submit a few sessions, but none of them got accepted. So I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to go because the cost of DrupalCons now, they're pretty expensive. Like I understand everything's expensive, but um, yeah, I mean, I need to kind of weigh up the cost because also at the same time, I I can't work as well. So it's kind of like you go to these conferences, you have to pay, and also you're not really working. Like it's hard for me to kind of I can't read. I don't know how people go to the Drupal cons and work at the same time. So I always try and get a free ticket. Yeah, I've done that as well by volunteering. I've put my hand up to volunteer, but last few times I've been well, when I've offered to volunteer, it's been knocked back. Oh, nice. Oh, you took the official. Oh, so you're the one running around. So you're the one that tells everyone to squeeze in because it's always what the main photo after the keynote. And it's like, all right, get everyone out. Let's all go out now. Make sure you squeeze in and then look up and do a serious one and then a funny photo. It's always the same one and then everyone disappears. The official photo. That's awesome. Yeah, I have volunteered at a few at no, I think one DrupalCon and then maybe one or two DrupalCons, but decent amount of Drupal camps I've volunteered, and it's always fun. Um, it's always fun volunteering, and I do recommend that if you want to, like with me, I'm not that like I have to kind of force myself to be social when I go to Drupal camps or Drupal cons because for me it's a lot of socializing, and there is a certain point where it's like it's too much. But I've realized that I work best if I volunteer because it kind of forces me to meet people in a way. And because you can still go to a DrupalCon, especially if you go by yourself, I've noticed that. And you know, this isn't a bad thing or a good thing, it's just the way it is. But generally, when companies pay for staff to go to a DrupalCon, they all kind of stick together. And it gets very clicky. And so of course you have all the people that work together, go out to dinner, go out for drinks, and stay together. And if you do go by yourself, unless you're really, really popular, you know everyone there, then you can still kind of feel like lonely where you're by yourself. It's like, so I came here, it's like, all right, who's gonna go? And then if you're not quick enough, before you know it, everyone's gone off to dinner, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be a third wheel and tag along and this and that to a group of people. And so what I do is try and volunteer purely because then, you meet a lot more people. And also then you kind of make friends with the volunteers and you guys, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, let's go along this and there. And then you kind of carry things along. I have to drag my wife along usually. Well, no, I did it once. Yeah, when my son was really young. Um, the family came with me to a DrupalCon, but then the Airbnb kind of stuffed up and I kind of lost a day and a half changing Airbnbs. And it was like, and then after that, I was like, you know what, it's easier for me to come on my own. Yeah, he does get very, very clicky. I love it. I've invited myself to other team dinners. Well, that's it. Like, luckily, I've had like I must admit I have been invited many times to other team dinners, but it does kind of feel like you know I don't know. I'm not that when it comes to like the social part of it, even though, yeah, like it can sometimes be even hard for me, even though I know these people and I've known them for like decades, but everyone just jumps into the little groups and then they go off to dinner. And nowadays I've noticed that they even have like, special like leadership dinners and it's like invite only. It's like, it can be very clicky. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to DrupalCons and things like that, just volunteer and then that way, you don't feel too lonely because you can still feel sometimes lonely when there's too many people, when there's so many people and you don't really know that many people. But yeah, you just invite yourself to dinners. Oh, yeah. But no, I want to go this year. I want to get to a DrupalCon or at least a camp. At least a camp. But I mean, yeah, I mean, the tech industry's been a bit funny lately, especially like the last year. So it's like I really need to weigh up the costs. It's like, is it worth losing? Because I lose time and also have to pay for it as well. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, if you are an extrovert, then absolutely you can kind of do that. And that's what I'm trying to force myself. I am trying to force myself to be. I actually don't like, yeah, the whole like introvert extrovert thing. It's like I know that I can be an extrovert when I have to be. And that's one thing I've noticed. Sometimes I can switch it on. It's like, all right, I need to be social. And it's like, all right, go, Ivan, be social. And so yeah, that's what I'm trying to work on. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, next time I come to a DrupalCon and I bump into people, I'll do it. Absolutely. No, DrupalCons are fun. Like I really do. I really miss like last Drupal set. I think I was at like Australia and New Zealand have like the Drupal South that goes around, and I think it was. Oh, it's been a while actually. It was 2014 Sydney because then I moved from Australia to Europe and I've been here ever since. And I still haven't gone to a European one, which is very annoying because that was one of the benefits of coming to Europe. Is like travel around Europe because yeah, Australia's so far away from the rest of the world. It's a long flight. Nah, I can't switch it. Oh, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes I feel like that's a good thing if you can't switch it off. Be at 100%. It sure helps to get stuff done. I can only have so much social battery per day. Well, that's it. That's the same with me. And also for me, I feel like because I am on my own and I'm not that often on my own because I've got two kids and a wife, it's like, then it's like when I am on my own, it's like good to come to an apartment or a accommodation and there's nothing to worry about. I can just relax. I can just relax. Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Yeah, I'll go for a few hours. But then sometimes, and then especially like at night, there is a certain point with the after drinks where it's like, all right, cool, you go for after drinks. And the funny thing is that, well, I don't drink, but I'm more than capable. I'm more than fine going to pubs and all that. Like I love going to them, but um, yeah, by like 10, 11 o'clock, then it's like, all right, time to go. I can't stay up till like 2 o'clock at night because I'm just exhausted by then. Oh, absolutely. So yeah. Oh, there was what was that other thing? Uh, Speaking about like HTMX, there was a oh, I want to cover it in a future live stream. I did see it. Where is it? SDC component library. No, not that one. I'm looking at another screen right now. Give me a moment. I've got the name of it, but it's essentially like a headless Drupal setup. No, I don't know where it is. Something I do want to play around with a lot more. Even though you got this canvas stuff, I do think, I don't know, I feel like headless, I don't want to say it's a future, but it could potentially, things can go that way. No, that's not it. Where is it? Anyway. Oh, I think I need to do another AI video, live stream, but I want to wait for version 2 to come out. Then I will jump on that because I think that will be pretty cool, version 2. Oh, where is this stuff? Come on. I'm trying to find it. Anyway, can't find it. Forgot the name of it. All right. Oh, sorry. It's just all these questions. All right. What time? What time do I wake up? Well, I wake up around probably 7. I'll probably wake up at 6:37, but I'm up most of the time till midnight anyway. Um, so I'm up till midnight and then I'll wake up around, yeah. But that's the only time I can do this stuff because it's nice and quiet. All right. So wait, you're Australian originally? Yes. Yeah. So lived in Australia and then moved to Croatia about nearly a year and a half ago. So living in Croatia right now. So I lived in Australia my whole life and yeah, wanted to travel a bit more. Okay, all right. Do you think using Drupal CMS 2 beta is risky for upgrade path working for use for real dev? I don't. I'm not quite sure. Um, yeah, because with Drupal CMS and recipes, there is technically when you install it, it's a one-off. So I'm not sure how you handle upgrades with Drupal CMS. Well, let's say you want to go from version 1 of Drupal CMS to version 2. Like, what is the upgrade path for that? That I'm not 100% sure on. But I mean, internally, when you're thinking about Drupal CMS version 2, if you want to upgrade between maintenance releases, it's just upgrading standard Drupal core. Now, I don't know what will happen if they push out a big change to the theme from the Mercury theme. That I'm not 100% sure on. What could actually happen? But it should be okay. I'll probably wait for at least a release candidate or a version 2 release, full stable release for Drupal CMS. But one thing I would love to find out, what are people going to do? What are people going to do if they want to upgrade from version 1 to version 2 of Drupal CMS? Hmm. Because they're going to see it, because that's going to be a thing that's going to come up. I can guarantee it, a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, so I use Drupal CMS 1, I want to upgrade to version 2 because hey, I can do it with WordPress. Why can't I do it with Drupal? And then you can't really explain to them, well, technically the recipes are stateless and really they're just there as a starting point and you're meant to just install it and be done with it, and that's it. So we will wait and see. We will wait and see. But while I'm here, I might as well quickly show you, what was it? So I am working on building out a Radix site that's using, let me see if I can bring it up. Let me stop this one. DDev stop. Got too many DDevs here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Build, 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 build Radix. That's the one I want. Now this one, I really need to finish this off. I started this. I remember I was working on this one. Oh, there we go. I was working on this site back in October because I know, because I was kind of like watching Formula One races and working on this at the same time. And I really need to finish this off. Which version of Drupal is this actually? And this is a Radix. So this is a custom. So what I'm trying to do is like just build out designs first in like Next.js or something, and then build that design, implement that design in Drupal. But then at the same time, I'm going to use the Next.js site that I've got and then implement like a headless version of Drupal, just to kind of play around with that stuff. So this is a half-built Drupal version of building like a multi-user blog using Radix and components. And I do want to implement this with Canvas, because in the meantime, I was meant to finish it like 2 months ago, but then Canvas came out and I was like, oh, should I finish it? Do people even use Bootstrap? I don't know. But then, I don't know if people have been following along with like the Tailwind thing this week about how the main project founder, said that with Tailwind that he had to lay off a whole bunch of staff because it wasn't profitable because of, for all sorts of reasons. But he also mentioned that, if they as a business can't survive, that means Tailwind's going to be abandonware. And that was a bit scary when you think about it, because Tailwind is used everywhere. Oh, all right. Is it okay that I don't like Tailwind? Oh no, that's perfectly fine. I mean, people, I feel like a lot of people have opinions about Tailwind. They either love it or hate it. With me, I don't like. Okay, creating buttons in Tailwind is a bit annoying. Like here, let me show you. Wait, where was it? Was it here? Yeah, it was. This button, you can see, like, this annoyed me so much to the point where I was like, okay, this is to implement a button. It's like, okay, that's a bit much. Come on. It's like, it's not, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to create a component called button, and that's it. I fix that up. And that's why I still like Bootstrap. I'm not against Bootstrap at all. I like it. I really do. But this one, so this site, it's a custom one that I'm working on. Let me see, is it actually working? I don't know if I stuffed it up because I often break my sites, but I keep backups. Oh, I do. Oh, it's still working. Cool. So, where is it? The good part of it, well, the biggest part I was working on, I still haven't finished this, is, so, okay, it's not groundbreaking at this point, but the header and the footer, this is all web form, okay? This is all purely web form. It's working. I've got these custom components right here and here. And good thing is that this top button does actually, it comes out from like a slider, and you have a drop down as well. And that all works. That actually, believe it or not, that actually took a fair bit of time just getting this proper slider thing to work. And I do believe, yes, tabbing, and this is huge for accessibility. Tabbing actually works. So right now, I am simply tabbing. I'm not moving the mouse, so you can see the mouse is staying put. But I can tab. I can click that. I can come along in here. I can tab around, and so this stuff, and then here I've got a custom component. That's a custom component. That's a single directory component, and just building out these type of things. And yeah, that was actually pretty simple to make. Well, after spending a bit of time setting it up, but I think it's come along in here. Yeah, this what is a byline component? It's pretty complex. So I've got here, where is it? Where I'm displaying different sizes. Yeah, Radix has its own set of components, which is great. Like, it's really good. You can use this image Radix, you can pass things across, and you can put in all your components. And believe it or not, it was refreshing to do everything through code instead of trying to wrangle things through the UI. All right, are you using Mercury version 2 or 3 alpha? I think it's, well, whichever one. Well, I'm not quite sure. Which one is it? Which Mercury version is Drupal? Well, this is Drupal CMS, so that is using, that's using beta 3. All right. Yeah, when I used to theme in Drupal, it was Pattern Labs, SAS. Well, it's kind of still like that. All right, this is way too complicated. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Why isn't that part of your theme instead of web form? So what no, this is the form. So you fill out the form. So you fill out this form. So this subscribe form is purely is a web form component. So that's the good part of it. So you can go in there, subscribe, and you are subscribed. So there's a lot of things you can do there. So yeah, I mean, this stuff is pretty cool. So I just want to put this together now. I think it's just the main landing page, and that is kind of it. And then just adjust. And this Radix stuff is pretty good. But yeah, you can see that, this Bootstrap stuff does things a little differently. So where is that? Components. Yeah, so these are all of my custom components that I have to put together. The sidebar, what is it? The nav bar, content, pages, and then all of this stuff is then loaded up in. Oh, no, no, no. No, no, no. Not the full footer. Just that web form component. Yeah, sorry. No, just this right here is part of web form. What is it? Just this part. No, up the top, up the top, up the top. Yeah, this part is web form. No, not the whole footer. The footer is just standard footer stuff. So that is the footer page. See, and this kind of looks like Tailwind. Kind of looks like it. Ah, you're not crazy. And I do have another. I've got another Next.js site, which is kind of like a YouTube clone that I want to build out. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. I understand Mailchimp gives it, but then you need to pay for Mailchimp. Whereas at least with this newsletter stuff and web form, you can at least push this out and integrate it with whatever you want. But I'll be curious to see how the how caching works if you have a form anyway. Something to think about for the future. But yeah, now I need to create, I think, the card component, but I need to update a whole bunch of stuff here anyway. Love that. Coming back to Drupal after being away since Drupal 7, I'm both impressed and disappointed at the same time. What are you disappointed about? You should be impressed. You should be impressed. What's there to be disappointed? What? It's still the same stuff? Oh, things have changed, kind of. They have they? Oh, I think they've changed. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, Drupal has a lot of competition now. That's the thing. That's the thing. Now they're saying, you can just vibe code everything. It's like, yeah, I love it how what was it, a couple weeks ago, somebody from Cursor said that they got rid of that they got rid of the CMS and they vibe coded everything. And it's like, that's it, CMSs are dead. And it's like, well, of course a person that works at Cursor knows how to vibe code and is going to do it themselves. That's like saying, oh, I don't know, what is it? Mechanics are no longer useful because I know how to fix my own car. It's like, well, no, people still need CMSs. Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, true with Canvas. Yeah, I mean, Canvas is cool, but it's not there compared to what you get with Drupal, with WordPress. But understand, Canvas was literally released 5 weeks ago. Version 1 was released, and I remember when Gutenberg was released with WordPress. And still, you talk to half the community in WordPress land, and they still hate Gutenberg. It's like, you know, I write a lot using Gutenberg, and it can be a bit annoying sometimes, but writing online anyway is annoying. Oh, that's it. Yeah, make your own. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. The finish off this one. Wait, what does this go? Goes there. Nice header there. Need to figure out putting a search button as well. Oh, that's it. They forgot CMS is needed for normal people. Well, that's it. I mean, it's just, yeah, this whole concept of especially with this vibe coding where they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get rid of all the SaaS applications that I use and I'm just going to vibe code my own. It's like, no, you're not. There's still businesses out there that don't want to deal with software. You're not going to have so many businesses out there that, it's just, yeah. Why? So you use base 44. Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, well, you need to use the right tool for the right job. And that's the thing. Drupal is not the solution to every single problem. It's that simple. It is that simple. So if you are building a SaaS application, use something else unless there's a real need for Drupal for it. But if you're going to build a SaaS application that does something that's SaaS required, then fine, do it. Well, that's it. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do like that comment. I think the multiple versions and different ways of handling the same thing stop us from standardizing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the whole thing about vibe coding, I kind of see that as kind of like a glorified site generator when you think about it. And it is going to get better, but I don't doubt that. Well, that's it. Yeah, with like Wix and Squarespace. Absolutely. I mean, the way you built websites in say the noughties or the 2010s was very different than what it is right now. Because yeah, you do have Wix, Squarespace, and Webflow and all that type of stuff. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, me too. With like Drupal CMS, I do think the out of the box experience needs to has to be better, and that's a whole thing about Drupal CMS is to get it over the line, is to show people what is actually available because you can do a lot with it, but not many people know what you can do with it. You know what I mean? Yeah, we developers know what Drupal can do, but it's hard to kind of convey that. Yeah, if you install what is it, views and this and that and paragraphs and yeah, of course, but you need to know that. If you don't know what you don't know, when you know what you don't know, then it's good because then at least you can learn it. But if you don't know what you don't know, it's kind of half the battle trying to get to that point. What is this stuff? Where do you think the sweet spot remains for Drupal now? I don't know. Where the sweet spot. Well, I do think. Yeah, I mean that's a tough one. Canvas was purely targeted towards small businesses, brochureware to Drupal. Yeah, I mean, Drupal Canvas is targeted towards marketers. Of course, that's what was that's how it was touted when Dries was talking about it at his Dries notes. But I wouldn't say Drupal's recommended for like small website. I mean, you can do it for small websites, but I feel like there's probably other easier options out there. Like, yeah, you have Webflow, but again, it depends if the client wants to manage it themselves. You need to think about all that type of stuff. But I still think Drupal's more enterprisey than your average site. Oh, thanks, man. Haha. That's good to know. It's good to know my content makes it out there. That's good to know. Thank you. It is sometimes tough coming up with ideas, especially live streams. I do like these live streams because it kind of forces me every week, no matter what, to go live on Friday. Yeah, kind of buying an SUV for a cup holder. Well, that's it. That's true. That is true. But yeah, doing weekly live streams is a good way for me to get into a nice bit of cadence of releasing content and just getting it out there. Um, but yeah, like coming back to yes, I remember that non-for-profit. What was it? What was that? Dean Space? Remember that was it Dean Space? That was one of the first distributions? No, it used to be part of Civics, was it Civic CRM as well? I remember playing around with that back in the day as well. But yeah, it used to be a non-for-profit. Wasn't one of the catchphrases of Drupal like social, was it social publishing? I remember the old let me look on, what is it, archive.net. What is it, archive? No, archive Wayback Machine. Wayback Machine. See if we can find Drupal.org homepage. There used to be something like social something, social plumbing. Was that it? Oh, let me have a look. Was it this one? I'm just trying. Oh, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Wayback Machine. This now brings back memories. So if we go take a look here. Oh, let me close this stuff. Bring him. Yes. Watch the video cast is old. Oh, I remember this site. Oh, that's awesome. Oh no, it was community plumbing. That's right. That's it. Yes, community plumbing. Something plumbing social. That's right. 2007 was it? Yes. Have a look. Redirects. Create a few of these. What was I doing in 2007? Oh, no, that's right. Oof. Brings back memories. Drupal 5. Hey. Ah. Oh yeah, Joomla. Oh yeah, Joomla. What happened with Joomla? That was forked from Mambo, I remember. Oh. This was oh, the simple days. And then what was it, 2012? What happened 2012? Oh no, Drupal 7 was released, I think 2011, I believe. Because I remember the Drupal 11 release party. It was in Sydney. We went to Lord Nelson's hotel for drinks. And yes, it was this design, 2012. Yeah, Drupal 7 was out. Uh, huh. Uh, Back then when Drupal was still growing. uh, things, of course, things change. Do I remember the Baker side? No, I don't think I do. Yeah, Mambo. Yeah, that's it. Mambo for no, what was it? They forked Mambo because it was becoming closed source, and then Joomla, yeah, was released. DrupalCon Munich. I went to that. I went to that. That would have been 20. What was that? 2012. Yeah. Oh yeah, 2012. And I went to DrupalCon Munich because yeah, moved overseas and I lived for a year and a half in Croatia. Then 2012. All times. No one remembers the Baker CMS because it sucks. Well, there you go. Oh, distribution. See, this is a good one. This is a good one to think about. Distributions were talked about a long, long time ago. And I feel like now with recipes, we're finally getting what distributions should have been, but they were just a bit of a pain to deal with. Distros. Distributions versus installation profiles. But I feel like we only got recipes because of config management. Well, how far can I go back? I'm curious. Oh, maybe I can do this for the Drupal birthday. Because I was thinking, what am I going to do on the stream for the Drupal birthday? Because I really don't want to do anything other than just chat. Maybe I'll go back. I was thinking I might try and set up what is the first one? I might try and set up an old version of Drupal. Do I really want to look at what was older? Oh no, it does that. So what is the oldest you can go? How far can you go back? Oof. 4 point. 2000 what is it? Beginning of 2003. Whoa. I remember this design. I remember this design as well. New import module. Whoa. Oh, that's right. They used to be part of the drop. Yes. This was before me. Okay, I wasn't on the drop. Powered by Drupal. Oh, that's right. I remember you could, what was that? The module that allowed you to log in to other Drupal sites with your Drupal account. Kind of like what was it? There was a module you could install on your Drupal site, and then if you log in this way, it's kind of like what the hub pub stuff is right now. But of course, totally insecure because I think passwords were sent through every other Drupal site. What was that? I remember that. I could set up my own Drupal site and then log in with my own credentials. and do all that stuff. Yeah. Talking about my doing migration from Drupal 7, I'm doing right now. Jesus, not for the faint-hearted. Ha, that's it. Well, any migration is difficult. Yeah, when you're doing from Drupal 7, OAuth, that's it, old school OAuth. When you're doing any migration, it's all about just what is it? You just need to rebuild a site. Essentially, it's not a migration. It's like a whole rebuild. Oh, well, good old Drupal, Drupal, Drupal. Wonder if these pages work. And then we can get all the way to. Let's go back to modern day Drupal. Was it 2016? Oh, of course. I always forget, like, the site changes so much. Good drop. Oh, yeah, this one. Yep. 2016. Oof. I feel like that wasn't that long ago, but it feels like a long, long time ago. Absolutely. All right. Had Drupal 8, the Windows ME for Drupal. Oh, huh. It was a foundation. It had to be done. We don't talk about Drupal 8. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like it's kind of like the upgrade had to happen. Yeah, the upgrade was pretty painful. It was. Absolutely. It was a painful upgrade, but I feel like it had to happen. But things got better and things are better now. I think it was worth it, like using other components but that's where you kind of saw the big drop. I think a lot of people left Drupal after Drupal 7. And then you had, what is it? Oh, what's the fork? Backdrop. I was thinking I might have a look and play around with Backdrop. Well, that's it, yeah. Nah, well, I think now this is what I think Drupal 11 is getting close. Well, I think the last few versions of Drupal 10, 11 is what Drupal. Well, absolutely. Oh, really? Oh, you preferred UberCart? No, no, no. I actually preferred Drupal Commerce, but I didn't mind it. I did play around with the e-commerce module in Drupal 4.6. That was one of the reasons why I chose Drupal to begin with, because it offered e-commerce, and also the reason why it offered what was it? Clean URLs out of the box for free. Because this was back when Joomla had a paid plugin, and I didn't want to pay for it, but I could do it with Drupal, and I chose Drupal. Spinning eight. Well, yeah, I mean, I would say Drupal Commerce well, especially for Drupal 7 was more of an e-commerce framework, whereas UberCart was an actual carting a cart, a shopping cart. But yeah, UberCart was pretty interesting. Yeah. This is kind of like a, thinking of the old times. I use UberCart for Drupal 6. Yes, haven't set clean URLs, but it was free. That's why I chose Drupal because it came with clean URLs because the website I was building, I was just freelancing and the client was like, we need clean URLs because that was the big thing about SEO back then. It was the clean URLs. When you could just do one thing and rank. It is now absolutely when I think about it, just how much simpler back then. Now I realize just how much simpler it was back then. But back then, you always thought it was the latest and greatest, and you know, but now when I think about all the AI crap that I get, it's like even on YouTube because I don't have YouTube Premium. I don't want to pay for it, but pretty much every single ad already is just AI. Like you can clearly see, and and it's the same ad. And I've even blocked it, tried to block it. It's just AI. Like it literally took what the advertising industry a year to get onto it, and then now every single. I think I'm getting some video about you know Tai Chi on YouTube. It's all just I don't know why I'm targeted, but it's just the same rubbish AI slop. And I use AI every single day. Like I'm not like a Luddite or against it. It's just I don't want to see it. Oh, yeah, Drupal Commons, Drupal then sucks of products and a bunch of selections. Oh, nice. Oh, you built a kiosk system with everything that stocks it. Haha, duck, duck. Well, the scary thing is that I'm actually in a weird way afraid. Well, this is going out on YouTube, so I love YouTube and YouTube is great. But I literally I know that they put in like terms and conditions about having ad blockers, and my Facebook account got blocked because one of my literally one of my Drupal videos was flagged for some reason, and they blocked my account. I had one video that was blocked. I tried to appeal it and they denied it, and it was literally just a 30-second clip of me talking about I think it was a comparison between GitHub Copilot and Cursor or something like that, and how to use it in Drupal. That got flagged. Then another video got flagged on Facebook, and then my whole Facebook account got blocked. So I've got no more Facebook, and that's it. So don't have access to Messenger, don't have access to, I still have access to WhatsApp, but my Facebook Messenger just gone. It's all gone. And so one of these things, it's like, I'm just like, yeah, I've heard stories where people just get their YouTube channels blocked for no apparent reason by the AI. So YouTube, I love you, and yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Just don't block me because I just saw just how easy it was. And the funny thing is, and the annoying thing is that with Messenger, I use it to contact people, and I can't anymore. And people have contacted me saying, "I thought you were on Facebook. Why aren't you on Facebook?" And the other annoying thing now is that I still have access to Instagram, but I can't use any type of AI to post to my Instagram because I need a Facebook account. So, and and if I want to do Facebook ads for any business, I can't do it. And it was because of two videos. I think, yeah, and the other video was like field group. I don't know. Facebook flagged it, but it was fine on Instagram. Yeah, who knows? It's a good rant. Go Meta. Yeah, I know, I know. It's just annoying. It's like you really do, you hear stories about people having things blocked and all that, and you're like, "Ah, it's never gonna happen to me." Then once it happens, it's like, ah, it's really annoying. But anyway, that's the situation. Well, I can't even get access to their support. That's the thing. You can't even get access to the support. You literally have 6 months to appeal. I appealed. I sent a form. I sent everything, and they were like, "Oh," they just replied back saying that, "Nah, it's still blocked," and that's it. I've heard stories of people purchasing through Instagram Meta Premium to get then access to support, and then you can get access to support and talk to support, and it's like, I haven't got time for this. It's like, oh man, it's like at the end of the day, yeah, Facebook for me, the Facebook page was nothing for WebWash and things like that, but it's just losing access to Messenger because I talk to a bunch of people. And believe it or not, I like Messenger because it's tied to your email address and not, say, a phone number like WhatsApp, which is annoying when you're switching numbers and you're traveling. Because right now I've got my European number, my Croatian number on one phone, and then I've got my Australian phone number, which I still need to receive SIMs, SMSs, or text messages to log into things because they still send to log into stuff. It's just annoying. Well, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly. Blocked from, yeah, marketplace, no reason. Exactly, that's it. You're stuffed. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, of course it's all AI. Absolutely, it's all AI. They're gonna, and that's and that's kind of got me worried because I use what is a Google Workspace for all the WebWash stuff, for all emails, all documents, and I like it. Like it's very good. All my blog posts, all of my blog posts, all content is stored in Google Drive. Now, what happens if Google decides to block me on that? Phew, kind of worrying. Who knows? Ah, oh yeah, but when it comes to like support stuff, the support, when it comes to support, that stuff's going to be replaced by AI. Even though in chatbots, I always try and push for, you know, oh, talk to a human, talk to a human, talk to a human, just to kind of try and get a human because the chatbots never help. But that's the situation these days. You have a few tech companies controlling a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's just the way it is, unfortunately. That is just the way it is. So why do people keep using it? I think it comes down to, I don't know, it's the network effect. People have always been using it, so they keep using it. And hats off to Facebook. I mean, when you think about it, I remember when Facebook was released, when it was the Facebook and it was just for colleges. And I remember when it was finally released. And to go from that to what it is now, it's pretty impressive that they've been able to stay relevant. Well, it depends when it comes to, is Facebook still relevant? I don't know. I think it is to a certain extent. They have Facebook, the marketplace is pretty big. Oh, but yeah, that's the way it is. All right. All right. Well, that I think we'll have to call it a night. It's nearly midnight here. So next week's stream will probably be on a Thursday. When is the Drupal? When is the Drupal birthday thingy? You'll think that'll be on the homepage of Drupal. No, I have no idea. Support Drupal community, discover. Let's have a look. Drupal birthday, 25th. Here we go. The Drupal 25th birthday. When is that? 20th? Oh, it's the 20th. Okay. Wait, no, that's it. Oh, okay. 15th. Celebrate Drupal. 15th. So that is a. Oh, yeah. Jan 15th. So that's a Thursday. Yeah, that's a Thursday. Okay, cool. All right. So next week's going to be on Thursday. Oh, no, no, no. No, I don't have a Discord. I am on what is it? The Drupal Slack, but no, I'm not on Discord. Well, I do have a Discord, but I don't have a WebWash Discord or anything at this point. I've been thinking about getting one, but it's like then I need to maintain it. But no, great chatting. Yeah, absolutely. But I am on the Drupal Slack, same name and all that. But yeah, next week I think is going to be a Drupal birthday. Just need to come up with some ideas on what to talk about. Anyway, it's going to be fun. All right. Huh. Well, great chatting, everyone. It was lots of fun. Hope you all have a great weekend. Happy New Year. Wait, there is a point where isn't there a statutory of limitations? How long can you say that for? What, 2 weeks? Yeah, it's only the 9th. Come on. I think you can say it till the end of January. Yeah, who knows? All right, cool. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. All right. Okay, awesome. All right. All right. Cheers. Take